Our next guest is a Marine who commanded intelligence teams in Iraq. He also served with CENTCOM's Middle East Assessment Team under General David Petraeus. Joining us now, Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher. Sir, good to have you with us today. I do want to talk about those Americans that are trapped there. But before we do that, because we are relying on the Taliban here, take a look at what President Biden said in the past about his trust of the Taliban.
Do you trust the Taliban, sir?
Is that a serious question?
It's absolutely a serious question. Do you trust the Taliban?
No, I do not.
Over the country to the Taliban?
No, I do not trust the Taliban. It's a silly question. Do I trust the Taliban? No. But I trust the capacity of the Afghan military, who is better trained, better equipped, and more competent in terms of conducting.
So, Congressman, I think the question that a lot of people are asking today is, then why would we have pulled our military out before getting our own American citizens out of the country?
It makes no sense. I mean, this is one of the biggest operational failures I've seen in my professional life. And the fact that the president is going on TV and really throwing our Afghan allies under the bus, spitting on the graves of the over 50,000 Afghans who sacrificed their lives fighting with us is a disgrace. It's unacceptable. And for the administration to equivocate in any way on the fact that we will do everything possible to get our people out is also unacceptable. This is America. We do not leave our people behind. We have to get our people out, as well as our Afghan allies, out of that country. We have approximately 15,000 that right now are trapped behind enemy lines, dangerously close to becoming prisoners of war. I think there's a tendency, because they're now giving press conference, for people to think that the Taliban is this monolithic governmental entity, which of course it's not. It has competing factions, and all it takes is for one of those factions to do something very stupid, and this whole thing could ignite, and we could see bodies being dragged through the streets. And the fact that we have now painted ourselves into this corner where we're dependent on the goodwill and the largesse of the Taliban is embarrassing for the United States and unacceptable given the danger American citizens are in, trapped behind enemy lines.
Did you see the briefing from the White House yesterday, Jake Sullivan? I don't know if you were watching that. We watched every moment of it. To your point about bodies in the streets, the LA Times already has these pictures of women who were beaten on the street, little kids that are bleeding. And this is happening in Jalalabad, and we just have our cameras focused on Kabul. This is a huge country, as you well know. Yesterday, Jake Sullivan said he blamed Trump, he blamed the Afghan government, and he said, we plan for all contingencies. You were in the military. Now, this is what Sullivan said yesterday with regard to how much weaponry the Taliban now owns that's ours, that we paid for, from yesterday. Watch.
We don't have a complete picture, obviously, of where every article of defense materials has gone, but certainly a fair amount of it has fallen into the hands of the Taliban. And obviously, we don't have a sense that they are going to readily hand it over to us at the airport.
Okay, well, that's a fact. The New York Times has a video of some of the cache of weapons they have scattered all over this warehouse. It's extraordinary. Now, did this administration, here it is on screen now. When you hear that they plan for all contingencies, as a member of the U.S. military, how do you react to that?
Well, if this was the plan, then it is one of the dumbest plans in the history of our country. And I can't help but think, why haven't we seen a fulsome press briefing from the Secretary of Defense, as well as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs? Because I think if pressed, they might say, no, we advised the Biden administration and the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State that this was going to be a fiasco, a disaster, and yet they pressed ahead anyways for political purposes. I mean, it makes no sense to surrender Bagram. I mean, Bagram is 25 miles north of Kabul. It's easily defensible. It has a secure perimeter. It has multiple runways. But instead, our entire evacuation plan now relies upon an airport in a city of 5 million that has a single runway. We struggled to seize that airfield, which is a core operational task. So I don't know how they can maintain this fiction that this was part of the plan. Sullivan in that briefing also suggested there would not be any adverse effect on our deterrent posture in other regions of the world. Well, that's a joke. I mean, right now, the Chinese Communist Party is publishing op-eds directed to the people of Taiwan saying, see, America is not a reliable friend. America is not a reliable partner. America turns and runs when the going gets tough. That should offend all Americans. This is a dangerous moment for U.S. national security.
Not to mention the frustration and anger from our European allies and our NATO partners. Congressman Mike Gallagher, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning.
Please come back.
Thank you.
I want to show you this